Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Mary and I give you an extra warm welcome. I would love it if you can click the subscribe button and stay for a while. I upload 3 times a week. Get ready with me, shop my stash, try on makeup. If it's beauty or makeup related, I will be posting it. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you more than you know. So as you could tell from the title of the video, today's hot topic is Hourglass. Now I feel like even though they are a high-end brand, some of the pricing screams luxury, just the pricing, and a lot of the times that makes you wonder whether the brand is worth it or not. They recently had their friends and family sale. I think you got 20% off or 25%. I can't remember. But I did do just a slight bit of shopping just so that I can bring more to the table as far as what I have tried from the brand itself. So if you would like to hear whether I think Hourglass is worth your money or not, then just go ahead and keep on watching. All right, my lovelies, hair is pulled back. I have 2 out of the 3 primers that I'll be going into because one of them is an Hourglass primer. But first, let's talk real quick. Today is March 25th, and I'm pretty sure today is the last day of the sale. When this video goes up, the sale will be over. 20% off, I'm pretty sure, is what I got. So I purchased one of the little single glitter eyeshadows, a lip liner, and a 3-pan eyeshadow palette, which I think it was already discounted because it was one of the ones that they curated. Instead of you picking the pan and then the eyeshadows individually, they curated this color story. But I got 20-40 off, so it was still like an $80-something eyeshadow palette for just 3 shades. Yeah, so 102 for the eyeshadow palette and I got it for $81.60. The lip liner was $29, I got it for $23.20, and the glitter eyeshadow was $30 and I got it for $24. So I still spent a good amount of penny. $137.11 was my total for my order. 3 items. I don't own a full face of Hourglass Cosmetics, but I do own, I feel, a decent amount. We're not gonna jump into this Vanish Airbrush primer. It's like a mattifying primer. Mine broke, but it still pumps product. And I use this for my T-zone because it actually does mattify my T-zone pretty well. I do enjoy this primer. I definitely feel it's worth it. It's a little bit pricey, but I'm about halfway done through this thing and I enjoy it. I feel it does exactly what it says it's doing. I remember when this came out, a lot of people raved about it. Steph from Babs Beauty, I'm pretty sure Morgan Turner. I can't remember if Cheryl from Cheryl Does Makeup or Cheryl's Makeup Corner, whatnot. Love this. I definitely feel that this is worth the price tag. Okay, now we're gonna jump into the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I have the shade 7.5 and I feel, so this came out around the same time as the Lancome did, and I feel like they were compared a lot. They actually perform quite identical for my skin type, but this is a foundation that I feel is worth the money. I purchased it when it first launched and I have loved it since it launched. Every time I use this, I think my base looks absolutely stunning, and I mean stunning. It lasts all day. It's a good one. I'm not sure what skin type it, caters to, but I feel like I have seen both people with dry skin and oily skin say that they enjoy this foundation, but I could be wrong. I am normal with an oily T-zone. It's still chilly here, so I'm more normal T-zone, just normal kind of oily, but during the summer is when you can really see my oils come out in my T-zone. I do feel like it's worth the price tag. All right, see how beautiful my skin looks, almost airbrushed. Okay, as far as concealer, I do own a mini of the Vanish Airbrush Concealer. The shade I have in the mini is Cedar. And I feel like this is a tiny bit too light for my personal liking. Not a huge fan of the concealer. I feel it's too drying. They did send over a little sample card, and I think I'm gonna try maybe Oat, because I feel like the situation is not being helped with the shade being so light. I feel like the lighter the shade, the more drying it can look under your eyes, especially the older you get. So let me jump into Oat and see if maybe that changes my mind. But I have tried over and over trying to make this concealer work, and I don't like it every single time. So maybe a different shade might change my mind, but we'll see. Okay, so like I said, Oat. I know people love this concealer, but I'm not one of those people. So many people have raved about this concealer for so long, and that is the reason why I purchased it. I'm pretty sure Allie Glines is the one who convinced me I needed this, and big no for me. And you already know, if you've been here for a minute, I don't use a ton of concealer, you know? All right, I'm gonna jump into my BK Beauty 110. Okay, I think this one's still a tiny bit too light for my liking. Let me know if you have tried this concealer and what your thoughts are. Do you agree with almost everybody else that this is an amazing concealer, or do you agree with me that tiny bit too drying and you don't like it? Tell me down below. Yeah, see, I feel like it's accentuating a tiny bit of the dryness that I have. Not as much as when I use my mini. Maybe if I do get a different shade, but for me it's a no. Okay, next item was Influenced by Miss Tara Lynn. Hourglass doesn't have cream, bronzer, or contour, so I did go in just a tiny bit into the Victoria Beckham contour stylus, and then I did set my under eyes with the Huda Beauty pressed powder because I don't like using this powder for my under eyes. I could, and I have, and it's okay, but I prefer it for all over the face. And it is the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. Like I mentioned earlier, Miss Tara Lynn loves this powder, so because of her I purchased a mini, and this is actually a pretty amazing powder, so I'm pretty glad that I did. This is the Make Beauty powder brush. I did forget to mention the BK Beauty 106 is the one I used for my foundation. This powder I feel is blurring, sets everything in place, and it does a pretty good job at keeping everything nice and put all day long. Now, I only wear my makeup for approximately at the most 9 hours. So if you're somebody who wears your makeup like 10 plus hours, I don't know how this holds up for that long. Hourglass also has a cream stick blush formula. I do not own that, but I have heard great things. I almost purchased it but decided not to because I don't need it, you know. Most of the stuff that I purchased during their friends and family sale was items that I don't own from the brand. But do you see that? Straight up, I feel like that concealer is making my under eyes look a tiny bit dry, but not as bad as I remember. But I do feel like that's messing with my base just a tiny bit. But other than that, I feel like everything looks beautiful, blurring, soft, and just like it's supposed to look, you know? As far as this powder, yes, I do feel that it's worth it. I can't talk for oily people, but I do feel it's a good powder. And the good thing is that Sephora does offer a mini, so you don't have to commit to the full size. That is one of the main reasons why I personally prefer minis, because then you don't have to commit and then you have less product to feel that you have to use up, you know? All right, my lovelies, face is nice and set. And now we're gonna jump into powders from Hourglass. I feel like when you think of Hourglass, or if you have heard from Hourglass, it's usually somebody raving about their powders. Blush, bronzer, that diffused lighting kind of setting powder that everybody uses pretty much to just kind of give their full face a glow. That is what made me personally fall in love with the brand. Quite a few items as far as powder goes. So let me try and go through this very quickly. Okay, the first ones, and it's one of my first purchases, are these little minis. One is a blush, and this is in Luminous Flush. It's a pretty pinky tone. A mini of the Luminous Bronze Light. It's a little bit light for me and I do have to really build it up, but I do love this formula. And the Diffused Light, which is that powder that you see people use all over the face just to bring a nice glow from within kind of look. Love this. I also use this for a very natural kind of highlight. I do also own one of the little trios. This is the Ambient Lighting Palette, Diffused Edit, I think is the shade range. So it's 3 different powders in this little cheek face palette. The bronzer, which is diffused light. So I do have a mini and I need to get rid of that. A blush, I forget what's the name of the blush, Euphoric Fusion. I don't own that in the mini. And then the diffused light, which I have in a mini, so I need to get rid of that because I have it in this one. The first holiday palette that I purchased from them is the Tiger palette. They came out with 3 different color stories, one for like your fair to light, one for like your light medium to medium, and then medium to tan deep. I got the one that is meant for your deep complexion. It's the one that called out to me the most, and I'm pretty sure there is three blushes. These 3 are blushes, highlighter, and this is meant to be like one of the ambient lighting setting powders or finishing powders, but I use this as a bronzer. Love this. And last but not least, I'm pretty sure this is from last year, and it's the Owl palette. I think I chose the Owl, but I think this is, no, maybe it is the Owl palette. I don't remember if this corresponds with the color story, and I mean the Owl. This one, honestly, I probably shouldn't have picked this up because I feel like I get very similar results than I do with the Tiger palette, but it makes sense on why this called to me. I'm pretty sure this is a highlighter, this is bronzer, these 2 are blushes. This one is one of the diffuse light powders, and is this a highlighter or a blush? I think it's like a blush. I'm not sure, but love this as well. But it's also very similar to the Tiger palette that I already own. Okay, let me figure out exactly what I'm going to use. Okay, I'm gonna use the Owl palette. At least I think it's the Owl palette. It doesn't even have a name on here. And I'm going to use the bronzer in here. I do feel like Hourglass bronzers run a tiny bit on like the reddish orange side. So this bronzer is not perfect, and I'm pretty sure that this palette that I picked up is meant for like your darker skin tones, but I can still make it work. Like that is how versatile Hourglass powders are. This is the Sonia G Classic Cheek. So do I feel like these face palettes are worth it from Hourglass? I feel that the powders are definitely worth the price tag. As far as the face palettes, just like with any face palette, it is only worth it if you can make just about every single shade work for you. Because if you can't, then you're already wasting money on the palette. They do have minis of certain ones. I would probably advise 1, pick something up during a sale, or 2, pick up a mini and try out the formula first. Because if you are oily, I honestly don't know if you would enjoy this. I'm pretty sure I have seen people who I follow that are oily and do enjoy the Hourglass powders, but I don't know if they absolutely love them. But for me, they're beautiful, they are stunning, and you're gonna see at the end how beautiful my entire makeup is going to look. Okay, I did go in just a tiny bit into my diffused light bronzer to mix in with that. See like how my skin just looks airbrushed? That's the quality that Hourglass powders have. Okay, I did pick up the Tiger palette, and I think I'm just gonna mix these 2 blushes. This is the BK Beauty and Nicola Rose N17, and I'm gonna use the dark side. I do have to tread softly with these because since they're meant for deep complexion, they are pretty pigmented. But like I said, I can make it work. You see that? So pretty. Okay, I went a tiny bit overboard with my cheeks, but it's okay because we're gonna fix that right now. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into the little trio I have, and I'm gonna use, it's the diffused light. Now this is meant to give you kind of a veil of glow and blurriness. So I dipped my brush, tapped the excess, and then I kind of just lightly run it, and it just kind of melts everything together and gives you a light glow, and also just kind of diffuses everything. I hope you saw what happened. Okay, so that is the magic that you hear people talk about when it comes to Hourglass powders. Okay, now for the $80-something 3-pan eyeshadow palette from Hourglass. I remember when these first came out. So they basically came out with just the pan. Here's what mine looks like. It was empty and they sent the 3 shades separately. But this is a curated palette from Hourglass. They picked the shades, put it in a palette, and it's how they're selling it. I'm pretty sure if you want to create your own palette, you have to buy the pan or eyeshadow palette itself separately, and then every single eyeshadow, which retails for $29 each separately. A lot of money. You know, like 29 times 3, that's already close to $90. I don't know how much the palette is. Like, that is more than Tom Ford. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, the only reason I picked this up is because Martina Lily recently did an Hourglass video and she gave these shadows a great review. So here we are. So let's just dig right in. This is like a neutral light brown. This is more of a warm chocolatey brown, and then the like goldeny champagne. Well, not golden, more like brown champagne shimmer. I do remember her saying, don't expect Pat McGrath level. Think of like Chanel, Dior, all the luxury brand shadows and how they're just soft and you have to build up. We're going to jump into the lightest shade. This is the BK Beauty 201 and we're going to use it in the crease. I already primed my eyes. I used the Anastasia eye primer. Ooh. Okay, that's actually applying very softly. I feel like they almost have a blurring effect, like the powder. Okay, so far very pretty. This is a beautiful, beautiful, almost everyday kind of crease shade. Okay, so pretty. Formula is soft, smooth. It's almost blurring my eyelids. Okay, what is it reminding me of? Is it the Victoria Beckham? I think it's reminding me just a tiny bit of the Victoria Beckham. Okay, now I'm going to jump into the darker brown. This is a BK Beauty 202. Okay, that actually has a good amount of depth. I wasn't sure it was going to. Okay, do you see that? So pretty. I feel like my whole face looks airbrushed. Even my eyelids look airbrushed. Okay, so here is another little new item. I purchased the Scattered Light Glitter Eyeshadow, and I got the shade Smoke, which is like a taupey champagne kind of shade. This is what it looks like. It's been out for so long. People still rave about these. I think I'm going to keep the little cover so it doesn't dry out. And that's what it looks like. So pretty. Wow, I wish you could see the specks that I see. Okay, let me apply glitter glue first. Hold, please.
A few minutes later.
Okay, do you have to wear glitter glue? No, you don't. I just always do anytime I go in with shimmers. So I'm going to pick up this shimmery shade. like it's a typical kind of shimmer. Not super bam in your face impactful, more soft, but it is very, very pretty. So far, this little eyeshadow trio is impressing me. The formula, everything. Now, do I think it's worth $29 a pan? I don't think so. Okay, so this is what it looks like just using the 3 shades. Now I'm gonna jump into this. Let's give it a little swatcheroo. Ooh. Can you even see it? There it is. Let me put some more. It's very soft. Okay, so the base is not super strong, and it almost looks a little bit flaky once you dip your finger in there. So let's add some of this and see if it makes it more bam in your face. Oh yeah, it's definitely adding glitter to the look. Okay, before I add that single shimmer shadow, I just wanted you to see the difference between this eye, which is just all 3 shades from the curated palette I used, and then this one has the sparkle, the extra sparkle. This is pretty, but this one just a tiny bit more glam. Okay, so as you can see, I already have mascara and eyebrows done. I unfortunately don't have an eyebrow pencil from Hourglass. I have heard great things, and also about their gel. I think they have a clear one. Mascara, I think I've only heard one person mention that they enjoy Hourglass mascara. I don't know which one. I don't know if they offer more than one. But now I'm gonna jump back into the Tiger, and I think I'm gonna use this one. I might use this one, I don't know yet. It's a little too golden, but we'll see. I want to brighten up. I think I'm gonna mix the two. The inner corner, this is the BK Beauty 207. And also on my brow bone, tiny bit. Okay, for highlighter, I'm gonna jump into the little trio and use this just so I can show you how beautiful this powder is, and you can use it as a natural kind of highlight. This is the BK Beauty and Nikki N14. You see that? So pretty. Now, mind you, it's a natural kind of highlight. Do not expect bam in your face. They do have highlighters. So in that Tiger one of them I used as a highlighter, and I believe this one here is a highlighter. I might add a tiny bit of that, we'll see. Just so you can see it, because they do have, I think they call them strobe. I'm not an Hourglass expert. I just know that their powders are stunning. Their foundation is also very beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna dip in to the Owl, same brush, just so you could see the difference. Okay, see now there you could see highlighter. So this is with the actual highlighter that they have to offer, and then this one's like the natural. I feel like they're both pretty. I mean, if you go light enough, they're both pretty glow from within-esque. I don't like blinding highlighters. Okay, last new item, and that is the lip liner that they recently released, the Shape and Sculpt Lip Liner Tempt 3. Which is described as a mid-tone pink beige. Look, they recently launched new lip liners, new lipsticks, and did I want to pick some up? Yes, I totally did. I don't need any more lip liners or lipsticks, but I wanted to have a lip product for this video. So I went ahead and just purchased at least a lip liner. They have lipsticks, they have the like glossy lip balms, they have, I feel like, good amount. I think they also have a lip gloss, maybe liquid. They have a lot to offer, but let's put this on. pretty super smooth. They remind me a tiny bit of the McGrath lip liner. It's a beautiful, beautiful tone. All right, my lovelies, face is nice and done. I did finish off the lips with a Gucci lipstick and they met in Argentina. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have done like a Hourglass brand dedicated video, but I wanted to do another one because I added some new products to my collection. I've been wanting to try eyeshadows, especially these little eye glitter, what is it? The scattered light glitter eyeshadow. First of all, so many people have raved about this for years now, and I see the hype now that I have used it. I also really wanted to try their actual eyeshadow formula. Like I said, Martina Lily mentioned it and she did a rave about the formula after using it, and I can see why. I don't feel like the price tag per pan is a fair price. I feel it's a little bit more for what you actually are getting. Like, I don't even think Chanel has that pricing. Is it a beautiful formula? Yes, but I think getting them in a sale, yeah, they're not worth the $29 per pan. I personally don't think so. I definitely feel like Hourglass overall is a great brand. I don't personally consider it a luxury brand. I think it's more high-end than anything. And there are certain items that I feel are more luxury priced than high-end, but I don't think everything in the brand is worth the actual price tag. For sure, when they have sales, pick up something that you've been wanting to try. There are some things that are worth the price tag. Example, the foundation. I absolutely love their foundation. It is beautiful. They did nothing wrong when it comes to that formula. Concealer, you already know how I feel about that. I do feel like maybe a shade that's more appropriate for me does a tiny bit better, but I still do feel like it's just too heavy, a little bit drying, and not the best for under eyes that are maturing. I'm 36, almost 37, and I can definitely see it right away when I apply the concealer that the formula is just a tiny bit too dry and a little bit too heavy for my under eyes. Powder, the loose powder I absolutely love. Thanks to Tara Lynn, I know how beautiful that powder is, and Tara Lynn I believe is in her 40s, so you know, if it works for her skin and my skin, take that into consideration. I think 100% where Hourglass excels is in their ambient lighting powders. I'm pretty sure I have raved about these powders before, and that's because they truly are amazing. I mean, look at my complexion. It looks blurred, doesn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Anytime I used any of these powders from like the diffuse light formula, forget about it. My skin and complexion looks so good. For the face palettes, if every single shade works for you, then yes, I would say the price tag is worth it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had fun hanging out with me. I love doing like brand-based videos, especially if I have a decent amount of products from the brand. And I'm glad that I was able to add the 3 new products that I did because I love all 3 of them. And I think the discounted price that I paid for them, absolutely worth it. All right, my lovelies, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. You have no idea. All the comments, all the likes. If you use my links to shop, it truly does mean the world to me. One more thing that I forgot to show you. Here's a swatch of the lip liner and it's staying put. It is not moving. That tells me it's going to be a good long-lasting lip liner, which makes me happy because I'm loving the tone that I picked. All right, well, with that being said, do not forget to give the video a big thumbs up, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye.